Welcome to Deadlands Dime Novels, The Adventures of Young and Holt, issue 44, tonight. I'm your narrator, Ernest Wick, intrepid reporter for the Tombstone Epitaph. In this issue, Young and Holt and John Barnes are having themselves a bit of a dust-up in the saloon of a small town in the middle of the night, somewhere along the tracks on their way to Denver. This would be acceptable under normal circumstances, but the three are currently dusting it up with townsfolk with ash for skin and a strange orange-red goo for innards. And did I mention the beelzebugs they're also tangling with? Well, the lead and flames are flying, so we best see where they're at.
Oh, that's good.
That's a hit. That just gets his parry, so...
Perfect.
So yeah, roll that 3d6.
Because it's an 11.
11. How would you like to take out this Ashen Man?
So what happens is when he just slams me in against the table, and as the table's tipping over with me on it, the shotgun comes up and just hits one barrel right in the chest, and I end up on my back on top of the table, splinters everywhere.
And he explodes in a cloud of ash and a little bit of multicolored goo over in this area here, but he is otherwise dead. Nicely done. That brings us to Mr. Barnes. He's got two guys on him. He is going to have to shoot at point blank range as well, because he's not that he's panicked, he's just a little concerned. So
that's a first.
Yeah. He's got to make his spirit roll first though, because he's engaging these guys in melee. He's doing okay. He's handling these guys in combat, so now he's going to shoot. There we go. 9 will work. That is a hit, not with a raise. So these two come up, start clawing at him. Barnes takes his gun, and he basically blocks the punch from one of them and shoves the gun up underneath its chin and pulls the trigger, and its head explodes in the ash with a little bit of goo, and it drops to the ground. But it is dead. And then that brings us finally to Joshua.
Joshua has this bug thing trying to chomp down on him, so he's going to basically push his shoulder deeper into the thing's throat to try to prevent a further bite. And he's going to kick the bottle of water that he dropped down to his feet over towards the fallen chandelier and the still smoldering corpse of the other one that's been smashed. And with his right shoulder in this thing's mouth, he's going to bring up his left shoulder in this thing's mouth. He's going to pull up his right gun, kind of just parallel to his chest, and just fire point blank one shot to try to end this thing.
Yeah, 13 will hit with a raise, that's for sure. That'd get you an additional d6. Oh my goodness. All right, how do you want to take this thing out, Joshua?
So, shoulder into this thing's mouth, kicking the bottle, pulling the gun up point blank just right across the chest, kind of closing my eyes so none of the gun smoke gets in it, pull the trigger, and just feel his body get kicked back almost on top of the other corpse. So they're both, it's in the chandelier wreckage, so both of them are stacked up.
Nice. Very cool. Nicely done. As it does kind of blow back, a little bit of the goo gets on your hand a touch, and it just sizzles a little bit there where it touches your open flesh. And I will allow you one more knowledge occult roll.
Nope.
All right.
Well, when you're fighting, you just can't think very well, can you?
Yeah.
I never heard about these things.
Porter gets a king. Joshua gets a 4. Mr. Barnes.
You know what I have heard about, though?
Apparently those loop gay rows. Never did finish telling me about them.
No, you didn't.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I told you the story of the loop guru, and I told you about the tale of the Omaha woman.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you about sharp elbows though.
You didn't tell us about sharp elbows. Porter, you are first in this round.
Okay, is that other one still on me?
He is still on you, and Joshua has one, and Barnes has one.
How does disengaging work in Savage Worlds?
I believe you just say that you're disengaging, and then you can move. You just can't do anything else.
Okay. Well...
So, if I've imagined the scene in my mind as you described it so far, is Porter laying flat on his back on that upstanding table now?
Yes, the table is now upside down, and I'm on top of it. Quote unquote on top of it. On essentially the underside of it.
Right.
So reloading, let me... this doesn't... usually things are over before I need to reload, so I never have to worry about this.
You only shot one barrel though,
I
right?
did, but I wanted to put 2 barrels into him this time. I might as well just not reload this turn and fire 1 barrel for the +2 shooting.
Okay.
And then I'll reload them both next time. I got a 7.
7. That will hit, because their parry is a 6.
And that's another 11.
Another 11. All right. So you've been knocked onto your back, and you have the ashen legs sticking up there. You see this thing coming down at you. You aim the shotgun.
I plant it against the table next to me and just pull the trigger.
And how do you and how is it killed?
Oh, there's going to be an explosion right above me. Explosion of ash and gross. Because it's essentially falling on top of me when I shoot.
There is an explosion of ash and almost said ass and gross. Ash and gross. There is an explosion of ash and gross, and the stuff just showers all over you. You get some of this multicolored red, orange, yellow goo on you, and it feels warm on your skin.
I did wet myself down beforehand.
That's very true. But you're fine otherwise. But it is more than gone. And then that brings us to Mr. Barnes, who is going to attempt to try and repeat his success with the other one. So Barnes, after he knocks that one down, and it falls away headless, he spins and puts his gun just mere inches away from the other one's chest, right where its heart is, lets a shot go, and then this one explodes, also in a cloud of ash and sunrise-colored goo. And Joshua, some of this gets on you as well, and you're astute in your senses enough to feel a difference. When this stuff gets on your flesh, it is only warm. It does not sizzle like the bug did when it got you. But it is now your turn.
All right. The still smoldering pile of corpses from the Firefly men now has that bottle of water over by it. So I am going to shoot the bottle of water so that it will kind of explode out in hopes that it will dampen or extinguish or whatever their corpses.
I'm going to give you a -2 on your die roll because it is a smaller object. That'll do it. Yeah, so it just explodes in a shower of glass and water.
And as it explodes, I'm turning to look at Barnes to see if he's still got the bottle that he filled.
It is in his other hand.
So once I see that he has that, I will basically shout at him, "Give me that."
And it's a free action. He just lobs it right towards you.
Oh, great. I'll try to put a gun away and catch it. Yeah.
Do you have the edge quick draw or just quick draw holsters?
I believe I have the edge. Let me verify that. Yes, I do have quick draw as well as quick draw holsters.
You can you make an agility check, and I will give you a +2 because you have the quick draw edge to try and catch this. Get your gun away and catch it with that free hand.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So he tosses it to you a bit unexpectedly, and you holster your weapon and catch it just before it gets to the ground. So you've got it in one hand, and you've got your gun in your other hand.
Oh! Catch it in your arms, holding twin guns.
Bonk. But you can still do something. I mean, you still have another action if you want. Or do you want to just keep this guy on you?
Well, I shut the bottle to splatter the water, and then I got the other bottle, so I'm done.
Okay. So he's going to go, and he's going to attempt to essentially punch you. But you are engaging one of these in melee combat, so please, Joshua, make me a spirit roll.
I was expecting him to miss it. And the bottle of water just sort of lobs through the air, and he goes up to grab it and just misjudges where it is. Just goes bang right in his face.
And grit added to that wouldn't help, probably, right?
Grit would help with this.
All right, so that would be 5 on the wild die.
Yes, you hear its moaning, buzzing noise as it comes at you, but you are able to keep your wits about you as well as it's coming at you to take its swing, which it does. A total of 12 against versus your parry.
Oh, that's totally hit with a raise because I've got a 5.
So you catch the bottle, and as you're spinning towards this creature, he is right on top of you, and he has both of his hands kind of clenched together, and he drives them down into your chest and hits you with 15 points of damage coming at you.
All right, let's spend a penny and see how much of this I actually take.
And what is your toughness again?
Toughness is 4.
4. So that's so this is a shaken in 2 wounds coming at you.
Failure.
Ooh, that is a failure.
So I'm going to spend a red, so you get to draw, right?
I do get to draw, and sorry, I'm assuming that you're doing this to add a d6 to your result? Because you would need just a 1 to at least get rid of one of the wounds.
Yeah, I'm tempted to do a total reroll though. All right, I'm adding 1d6, and that wouldn't be to both of them, would it?
No, it adds a d6 to the result of the 3. So as long as you get a 1, you're going to at least get rid of one of the wounds. Okay, so 3 brings it to a 6. It's still only one of the wounds, so you have 1 wound and are shaken. So, new round. Porter. Joshua gets an ace. Mr. Barnes gets 7, and I get a 10. And but Joshua, you are first. You are shaken, so you can make a spirit roll to get rid of the shaken. I mean, obviously you still have the wound.
Okay.
All right, you may act normally.
So I am going to pull and fire at the one right in front of me. That just because those 2 hands came down, hit me in the chest, and just totally deflated me, made me take a step back, and then I'll just raise my gun up and fire.
That is definitely going to hit with a raise.
Total of 8. Got it.
8 damage. Shot goes off, and it catches him right in the shoulder, and he stumbles back slightly. But he stays standing, and he is shaken.
And if I can, with the bottle in my other hand, pull the cork out with my teeth and dump a little bit on my hand that's still burning.
You can absolutely do that. Not a problem. All right. He is going to attempt to unshake himself. And he does not. He clutches his shoulder area where you hit him, and ash and orange yellowish goo is coming down a little bit, but he staggers back slightly away from you as he is appears to be in some considerable additional pain. Porter, you are next.
So Porter, saying that there's still one up, is lying on his back. He thumbs in 2 new shells, flops over onto his stomach, takes aim, and shoots at the zombie, or at the campfire man.
Campfire man.
Campfire man.
That's right. So because he's reloading and shooting, it loses the +2 close range with the shotgun, with the shotgun, and just fires straight up. It's a good thing he staggered back.
Yes.
Does a 1 on the shooting die mean anything?
No, not in this case. You hit with a raise. You definitely nailed him with that shotgun. Jeez.
When I roll high, I roll high.
And he's about in the same area as those other 2 corpses, too.
Absolutely he is. And he just explodes in a shower of black, orange, red, and yellow. And it just drifts and drips all over the pile that's there already. And steam is rising from where the bottle had been blasted the previous round. And this kind of settles down on it and settles down. And the glow is beginning to finally fade from the original bugs that were killed. But he is no more. That settles, and Barnes says, "Hey, I think we've got a little company." And you turn and you look, and he's pointing outside the saloon, and he steps out of the door. Are you going to follow suit?
Yeah, I guess.
There was 3 of these firefly-looking guys, right?
That's what you killed in here, yes.
And one's over behind the bar area? Or were they all out on this side of the bar when they dropped?
They were on this side. They didn't drop back behind the bar when they were killed, no.
I'll I'll reload the shell I just fired and sort of brush off at the gunk on me as I'm heading for the door.
Joshua takes a drink out of the open bottle and then just kind of spits it out on one of the guys as he's rinsing his mouth out as he steps out of the saloon.
You come out and down the steps, and you look down the street of the town, and what you see... Well, first of all, you kind of see and hear this at the same time. There is this large, growing symphony-style noise that's kind of building in this crescendo, and it's a conglomeration of all of these buzzes and whoosh noises, and you see all of these individual points of light, orange light, come popping up in and around other buildings around town. 1 dozen, 2 dozen, begins to grow and grow, and you even start to see some of the ashen shapes as this light is beginning to kind of cast some good light in the town. You see some of them begin to move in that little bit of a jerky motion that the other campfire guys had been when you were fighting them. And it looks like they're starting to come your way. While you see this, you hear noises off to your side, like rapid footsteps, and you turn and you see many of the people who you had met on the train. You see Monty, the older guy with the scarred face. He is running there along with Sister Crane, the aging nun, and Jerry Jewell. And the 3 of them are there, and they've got lanterns, and they show up almost as this is happening, and they see you, and then they look at you, and then they look at what's coming at them, and then they look back at you, and Jerry just says, What the hell's that?
Well, now that all the players are back together, it's probably best to get them back to the train. We'll handle that little task in our next issue, Run for the Rails. The part of Porter Holt is played by Brad Smith. Joshua Young is played by Brent Rich, and your intrepid marshal is played by Chris Hussey. This game references the Savage Worlds game system, available from Pinnacle Entertainment Group at peginc.com. It is unofficial media content permitted under the Media Network Content Agreement. This content is not managed, approved, or endorsed by Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Certain portions of the materials used are the intellectual property of Pinnacle, and all rights are reserved. Savage Worlds, all related settings and unique characters, locations, logos, and trademarks are copyright of Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Thanks also to Fear the Boot. Support their Patreon at patreon.com/feartheboot. Intro music by Beelzebub Jones. Exit music by the Eaglestone Collective. Contact information for the cast as well as music links can be found in the notes on our website, youngandholt.com. If you enjoy these issues, please consider dispensing a lovely 5-star review on wherever you do listen from. Please search for Fear the Boot Actual Play. It's kindly appreciated. And I'm Ernest Wick for the Tombstone Epitaph. And remember, life is a bit of a gamble, so be sure to play your cards right.